I'm here with Beyond the Case, and I have two amazing people that I had to stop and talk to. So, can you all introduce yourself first?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Gutierrez. I'm the host of Beyond the Case.
Hello, everybody. My name is Luis Carlos. I am the co-host.
Absolutely. And so, your podcast was super intriguing to me for a few reasons, but can you tell me a little bit about your podcast, what you do, how you help families, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. Well, just real quick, we are a web series, so you guys get to watch all of the stuff that we do. And you guys are the third investigators as we reinvestigate the missing persons cases. We start from the beginning. We gather all the documents. We re-interview the families. We re-interview all the potential suspects or persons of interest and all the witnesses and retrace the steps of people who went missing that aren't getting the exposure that they need.
Absolutely.
That's right. You know, bringing in the decades-long experience of managing these cases from a law enforcement perspective, I know what we need to reinvestigate these cases. The families, when we talk with them, they are super eager initially after they get used to us with the why are you doing this conversations. And after that, they are so pleased that I am bringing these decades-long experience to their missing persons.
Absolutely.
Cases.
So can you tell me a little bit about the case that you all are talking about here?
Absolutely. So let me tell you about Anthonette Cayedito. That's a very, I would say, well-known case because of the 911 call that came in about a year after she disappeared. Okay. It was from a girl who said that she was Anthonette. From that point on, nobody's ever heard or seen of her. We've interviewed her sister, Sadie, who's been on a decades-long hunt to try to find her sister. She's out of all the cases that we've investigated, we truly believe that she's still alive. Okay. We believe it's likely human trafficking behind her disappearance. Mm-hmm. And we were the first and only ones to actually investigate it so far as to where we got a confession from her mom who died in 1999. In that confession, she actually named two men, mm-hmm. and we're actively looking for the two men that she named in that confession.
Yeah, and furthermore, in this case, we actually traveled to Texas to do a DNA test off a tip that we received. That is our investment in these cases. Wow. We push forward for the family. Absolutely. The families are always appreciative of the work that Crystal and I put into these cases.
Absolutely. So why did you choose to do this? What made you decide, you know what, I think I want to go and pursue cases that are...
She called and bugged one day.
Do y'all know each other?
So here's the thing. I'm a retired news anchor. Okay. So my decades-long experience within the news industry, I know first and foremost that if an adult goes missing, it's highly unlikely if they don't have foul play evidence that media will pick up on that case. Mm-hmm. There's only certain cases actually do get attention, and there's so many more, thousands upon thousands, that do not get any attention. Yeah. And it was heartbreaking for me to have to turn families away because my boss wouldn't let me do it, because if you're over the age of 18, you can leave on your own accord, even if your family member says, there's no way she would have left. Yeah. So with that being said, I decided I'm going to be my own boss, and I'm going to get these cases the exposure that they do need. I then called him, who I've known since 2009. I said, are you busy? He wasn't. He was retired. I'm like, well, let's get to work.
I'm chilling.
You're not doing anything important, right? So he is actually a private investigator right now. So we've teamed up, and that's how we get further than what you typically see on maybe a podcast or, web series, because we actually thoroughly investigate the cases. And even though you see the episodes on our site, we're not done investigating. We still actively investigate each case.
For my piece, the law enforcement piece, I've investigated these cases, and as I became an investigator and then a supervisor and then a manager and a director, I know that sometimes law enforcement do not have the resources, sometimes the manpower to actually dive into these cases and focus on them. Yeah. Now that I'm retired, guess what? I can.
You can.
And I bring all that experience to the table.
I love that. I love that. And so, what is the likelihood of a case being, I'm guessing this is a child of color, so what is the likelihood of these cases actually being pursued and solved? If it's a child of color or an adult of color?
As it comes down to it, and unfortunately we do see it across mainstream media, is that majority of cases for girls, boys of color, she is Hispanic and Native American, they typically don't get the exposure as more prominent families, as I like to call them, or families that have social status or money. Yeah. And there's so many cases like this that we'll never get to see any type of media exposure, especially if you're an adult. Children cases get a little bit more attention. Yeah. Adult cases do not, unfortunately. And that's kind of what we go through. We don't pick a case based on color, social status, what their past was, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care what type of line they were worked. I don't care if they were in poverty. It doesn't matter to me. They're a person, and they need their story told.
Absolutely.
One of the active cases that we're working on is actually a Latina mom that disappeared going to her daughter's birthday party. She called the daughter and said, I'm on my way. I'm going to stop at a friend's house. And she disappeared. That case is very, very, very important because there was a lot of lack of police attention to the case.
Of course.
And because of the background of this mom, right? This grandmother, this daughter.
Yeah.
This is one of the cases where we actually got a hit on a canine, a cadaver canine at a location that law enforcement missed.
Wow.
So stay tuned for that. Part 2 is actually on hold because of that.
Okay.
We had to pump the brakes a little bit to make sure that nobody went and kind of messed with the location that we're actively searching right now.
Absolutely. Wow.
So,
well, thank you both so much. I really appreciate it.